next cook along is going to be a pork rillette, which is a style of pate, potted pork. Basically, it's a classical French preparation of seasoned shredded pork, pork belly, which is slow cooked in its own fat with herbs and garlic, and is absolutely delicious on toast or a bit of bread as a snack or a starter. So to serve 10 to 12 people, the recipe is 1.5 kilograms of rindless pork belly, 3 to 4 garlic cloves crushed, a small bunch of thyme, 6 bay leaves, 500 grams of rendered pork fat, from flare fat or back fat if you have it, 200 millilitres of water, and salt and freshly ground black pepper. And then it's slow cooked in the oven, which is at 130 degrees centigrade or gas mark 4, and that takes 3 to 4 hours in the oven, so you can get on with other things. So I will see you tomorrow once the pork has defrosted, and we're using a lovely piece of our own OSB belly pork. So I'll be back. Good morning. Today's cook along is going to be quite a simple dish. It's called pork rillette, which is a French style pate made from pork belly, garlic, thyme, bay leaves and rendered fat, slow cooked in the oven and then potted up later. So I'll be doing it in stages. Hopefully you can see me because I don't have an assistant to video me this morning. So I've defrosted some belly pork, so no bones in that one. If you do have bones, you can take those out once it's cooked. This recipe that I read out yesterday, I'm making probably half quantities because I've got this which weighs about 819 grams rather than the 1.5 kilograms, but for the two of us it will certainly hopefully make enough pate to enjoy. So what I'm going to do is open up the pork, chop it into 8 to 10 centimetre pieces. This is where hopefully my knives are nice and sharp. And then obviously got interest from the dogs too, so so that's a chunk, and I suspect hopefully that's about 8 to 10 centimetre chunks there. It says put them in a roasting dish, so I'll see how this goes. Test off, good girl. Go on. So as you can see, the belly pork has been chopped into rough chunks, and I'm now going to rub it all with plenty of sea salt and black pepper. So a couple of good pinches of salt there, and black pepper. Lovely. And then you just want to fit these in quite snugly into the roasting dish, casserole dish, or whatever you're using, so there's not too many gaps, hopefully. A bit like Lego or something. Right, I think that's all fitted in quite nicely. Then you get your garlic cloves. So the recipe, full recipe says 3 to 4 garlic cloves. I like it quite garlicky, so I think I'll use these 2 biggish cloves here. So just got to bash them. And take the outer off. The oven's been preheated to 130 centigrade, so it's quite a low heat, and then you just pop the bashed garlic amongst the pork there. Okay. Lovely. Some thyme, fresh thyme. Over the top. Bay leaves, 6 bay leaves, but these are little ones, so I'm going to pop those in. And then spoon over the fat. So this is rendered down fat from previous pork dishes which I've saved. So I've measured out the pork fat from my jam jars that I'd kept. So now all I have to do is spoon over the meat, the layer of the fat. You've got your herbs underneath, all tucked in, and the garlic. Spread this over, and then pour on 100 mils of water if you're doing half the recipe, 200 if you're doing the whole recipe. And then once that is all done, you put aluminium foil over the top, so nice and tight so no air gets in, and then you pop it in the oven and roast for 3 to 4 hours, basically until all the meat is unctuous and falls apart. All of that. There. And I've measured out 100 mils of water, so that's going on top. So that's what it looks like. And I'm pouring on the water now. And foil. Move that out of the way. It's nice and tight. Pinch around the edges so it's all sealed, and then I shall pop that in the oven and get on with other things for 3 to 4 hours. So it's now 3.5 hours since I put the pork in the oven, so the buzz has just gone, and I'm going to get the pork out of the oven and let you have a little look, and then we go to the shredding phase if it's done enough. So just getting oven gloves, and here it is. I shall pop it here over on the cooker, and bear with me. I I will hopefully find a way to start. So here, this. Oh yes, that looks very nice. What I might do is just pop it in for another half an hour so that it's given the maximum time. So I'll just pop that in for another half an hour and then I'll be back. So the buzzer's just gone off again, half an hour more in the oven, and I'll get that out now, leave it to cool for a few minutes and then shred the meat. And so it's now out of the oven. I'm going to shred it with using 2 forks. Hopefully the meat will, yes, lovely, come apart nicely. So I'll be doing that in here. Probably take a while, so that's the shredded pork, and I'm going to strain off the liquid that it was cooked in into this jug. And if you're doing the full recipe, you need about 500 millilitres. If you're doing half the recipe, as I am, about 250. So I'm hoping that's going to make enough liquor. Oh yeah, perfect. It's a little bit over, but you can always keep that and use that in other recipes in the fridge. So that's literally 300 mils, so I'm going to pour in almost all. Give it a stir. So it looks a bit like that. Going to get the jam jars out of the oven. They have been sterilised, but I just put them in there now just to warm them up, and pop the rillette into the jam jars. So here we have the finished article, rillettes, and looking forward to popping the lids on, popping them in the fridge, and trying some later on with some toasted gluten-free bread as a little starter. The smaller ones I shall be giving to my sister and my mother as little gifts for them to try as well. So hope you enjoyed the cook along, and thank you for joining me, and do enjoy having a go at pork rillettes.